sports, entertainment, and cultural events in the nation's capital.
Good morning, America. Breaking news, show of force. Russia tests a new missile after it kicks out dozens of U.S. diplomats, dramatically ramping up tension. Also this morning, new fallout from those White House shakeups. The VA secretary fired by President Trump is right here on GMA.
The Fox News host versus the Parkland shooting survivor. New fallout after Laura Ingraham targets student David Hogg, making light of his college rejections.
She literally called out the survivor of a mass murder and made fun of me.
The power of the 17-year-old's call to boycott, and the companies responding this morning.
The new warning about your morning coffee. Can a chemical in coffee cause cancer? A judge now says Starbucks and other companies must add a warning. Dr. Jen Ashton is here.
Fitness app hack. 150 million users now told their sensitive information may be compromised. The new alert about MyFitnessPal this morning.
It's good to be alive right about now.
And scary close call. This plane skidding across the runway, landing right on its nose. The pilot thankful to be alive this morning.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
I get it now while we're playing that song.
Yeah.
Good morning, America, on this Good Friday, and it's great to have Cecilia here with us at the desk. And yes, the pilot, of course, thankful to be alive, make it out safe and sound as he did.
Nothing like a little ground kissing to start your Good Friday off right?
That's true, that's true.
You all mentioned, let's take a live look at St. Peter's Square right now as so many Christians around the world preparing for Easter. It is Good Friday in the Catholic and Protestant traditions, and tens of thousands will gather there this weekend for ceremonies with the Pope.
We'll get to all that ahead, but we want to get to that breaking news first. Russia with that new show of force, testing an intercontinental ballistic missile. This comes as tensions escalate between Putin and the U.S. So let's go to our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz. She has all the latest for us. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Robin. If you want to ratchet up pressure, this is the way to do it. It can't be a coincidence that Russia releases video of the test launch of this powerful, brand new generation of nuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles right in the middle of this diplomatic drama. This is one of the missiles Vladimir Putin bragged about when he unveiled a series of new nuclear weapons last month. It comes on the heels of the expulsion of those 60 U.S. diplomats ordered out of Russia. That means American families packing up, their kids pulled from schools. We did the same thing to 60 Russian diplomats here, but that was, of course, in response to the nerve agent attack on the former Russian spy and his daughter in Britain. And the State Department has not ruled out further action. Robin?
And the State Department was very clear about that. But, Martha, they seem to be blindsided by some comments that the president made about Syria. Let's take a listen.
We'll be coming out of Syria like very soon. Let the other people take care of it now.
The State Department seemed to not know anything about that, Martha.
Nor did the Pentagon, Robin. It was a complete surprise, and not sure who those other people would be, whether he means the Russians or someone else. But it was even more surprising coming from Donald Trump, who always says he will never telegraph the enemy about our military planning or any sort of timeline for withdrawal. Central Command quickly released a statement saying their strategy is to defeat ISIS, and they will continue to focus on that. CENTCOM also just announced this morning that 2 coalition personnel have been killed and 5 wounded by an IED in Syria. A sad reminder, Robin, of the ongoing threat there.
Yes, a sad reminder and thinking of those families affected. Thanks so much, Martha.
Okay, Robin, thanks. We're going to move on now to the latest shakeups at the White House. There you see Hope Hicks saying goodbye to the president Thursday. And this morning, there's new fallout from his latest fire, the head of the VA. We're going to hear from Dr. David Shulkin in a moment. First, let's go to ABC's Mary Bruce at the White House. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, we saw the president there bid a very fond farewell to Hope Hicks, but it was a very different send-off for VA Secretary David Shulkin, the president announcing he was fired in a tweet. He's now the 8th high-profile firing or departure just this month, and the president's pick to replace him, his own doctor, Rear Admiral Ronnie Jackson, is raising a lot of questions. The president is putting his personal physician in charge of the second-largest federal agency overseeing the care of roughly 9 million veterans and a nearly $200 billion budget. And While Jackson may have experience running the White House medical unit and clearly has hit it off with the president, he does not have management experience on this scale. Now, veterans groups are skeptical he's up to the task, and lawmakers up on Capitol Hill are raising questions about whether he can run this massive agency. And David Shulkin, George, he is not going quietly. He says he's the victim here of an ugly political power play.
Thanks, Mary. We are joined now by Dr. Shulkin. Dr. Shulkin, thank you for joining us this morning. I know you've been a busy man the last couple of days, and yesterday I want to start. The president talked about not being satisfied with the level of care at the VA. Let's listen.
I wasn't happy with the speed with which our veterans were taken care of. We made changes because we want them taken care of. We want them to have choice so that they can run to a private doctor and take care of it. And it's going to get done.
I know you spoke to the president before you were fired on Wednesday. Is that what he told you on the call?
Well, the president and I did talk about what we were doing to improve the VA and how we could speed things up. I agree with the president. We have to do more and we have to do better for our veterans.
So, but did he tell you he was not satisfied, and did he tell you you were losing your job?
The president asked me about the types of things that we were doing to improve the VA. He had a lot of questions about it. I told him all the steps that we were taking place. He did not mention anything specifically about my position, but it was really more about the policies that we were putting in place.
On your way out, you're warning against privatizing the VA. The president certainly seemed to say there that he wants at least some kind of private option. Did he indicate to you that he wants to move towards privatization?
Well, I think the president wants to see us do better for our veterans. Listen, I'm in favor of working closely with the private sector, whatever is best for our veterans. What I have warned against is not investing in the VA and making sure that we create a system that really meets the needs of our veterans and that the country can be proud of. And I think this is a balance that we need to do, invest in the VA, at the same time working with the private sector.
But you also wrote that privatization is a political issue aimed at rewarding select people and companies with profits. Which people and companies will profit, and what's going to happen to veterans in return?
Well, what I've talked about is that there are a number of political appointees that weren't happy because I wanted to make sure that we were building a strong VA at the same time that we did work with the private sector. These political appointees, I think, feel that what we need to do is dismantle the VA and move everything to the private sector. That would not be a good thing for our veterans. That would be reneging on our country's commitment to those who have served us.
You also write that you were falsely accused by people who want you out of the way. Are you referring to that pretty scathing Inspector General report about your trip to Europe last summer, saying that you improperly used government funds to pay for your wife's travel and improperly accepted Wimbledon tickets?
Well, this was a very important business trip where we met with our 5 allies. There were 40 hours of lectures. Everything that I did was pre-approved by our ethics committee. There was nothing that was done improper. What happened was that this was a politicized issue. This was used to be able to try to decrease my effectiveness in getting the job done for our veterans.
Your proposed successor, the nominee by the President, Dr. Ronny Jackson, is facing some skepticism. He's getting praise for his service in Iraq and the White House, but real questions about whether he has the relevant management experience to lead such a large bureaucracy. Do you share those concerns?
Well, I know Dr. Jackson well. He's an honorable man. He's a great patriot. Good values. This is a very tough job, and you know, I think anybody who's going to step into this job is going to need a lot of help to be able to get it done. I'll certainly do everything I can to make sure that he succeeds, because this is really too important for us as a country not to honor our mission to our veterans.
Dr. Shulkin, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
And those will be some confirmation hearings for Dr. Jackson.
Tough questions for him coming up. Okay, George, thank you. President Trump is also facing that legal battle with adult film star Stormy Daniels. But this morning, a setback for her team. A federal judge saying her lawyers can't depose the president. Not yet, anyway. Our chief national correspondent, Tom Yamas, is here with the latest on all this. Good morning, Tom.
Cecilia, good morning to you. Stormy Daniels, who claims she was threatened into silence after a sexual encounter with Donald Trump, might still get her day in court, but not in the near future. A judge pumping the brakes on her lawsuit against the president.
This morning, adult film star Stormy Daniels dealing with a legal setback.
a federal judge denying her request to proceed to a speedy jury trial in her lawsuit against the president. The reason? U.S. District Court Judge James Otero deciding Daniels' side failed to meet the court's procedural requirements. That attempts to depose the president and his personal attorney, Michael Cohen, right now were premature.
I'm not okay with being made out to be a liar or people thinking that I did this for money.
Daniels is suing the president to break a hush agreement surrounding an alleged sexual affair she says she had with him back in 2006, which included a $130,000 payment by Cohen for her to stay silent. Daniels' attorney says despite the setback, the judge's decision showed something promising, that Daniels could potentially get a jury trial.
When we refile this motion, I mean, there's no guarantees. I am highly confident that the court is going to order that President Trump, Mr. Cohen, are going to sit for deposition, and we're going to have a trial by jury.
Cohen spokesperson David Schwartz describes the decision as a legal smackdown to both Daniels and her attorney, Michael Avenatti.
I think his goal is to one day depose the president because it's good for his ego to be able to depose the president.
And a footnote in the court decision may be a warning. The judge writing in part, the parties are advised that the instant litigation is not the most important matter on the court's docket. Was the judge sending you a message?
No, not at all. What the judge is saying is that we don't necessarily get to jump to the front of the line, and we never sought to jump to the front of the line.
Now, that Judge James Otero was nominated to the bench by President George W. Bush. Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti, has prior experience in that court and with that judge. Robin.
All right, Tom, thank you. Now to breaking news overnight, a manhunt for a suspect accused of posing as a police officer and killing an off-duty officer. ABC's Alex Perez is in Clarksville, Tennessee, with those details for us. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Robin. You can see those flashing lights behind me here. This is where that all-out manhunt ended. Investigators say it was an employee from a nearby hotel that first noticed the suspect and called police.
A frightening manhunt developing overnight in Kentucky.
There's been an officer-involved shooting in that area.
At 5:20 p.m., 38-year-old Hopkinsville, Kentucky police officer Philip Meacham, driving his personal vehicle, was pulled over by a man who appeared to be a fellow police officer. But that man, 34-year-old James DeCourcy, was just pretending to be a member of law enforcement. DeCourcy shot Meacham, a 12-year veteran of the force. He died at a local hospital.
The suspect tried to stop the off-duty officer in another vehicle. Shots fired, then he foot-bailed and stole that vehicle that he's in there.
DeCourcy fled the scene on foot, then escaped in a stolen pickup, triggering a massive 9-hour manhunt, forcing this community into lockdown.
We're here, and we'll get through it. That's what we do.
At 1 a.m., police cornered DeCourcy and killed him.
And Officer Meacham had more than a dozen years in law enforcement. He leaves behind 2 young children. Cecilia?
Okay, Alex, thank you. We want to turn now to that massive data breach. Under Armour announcing 150 million users of the popular MyFitnessPal app may have had their information compromised. ABC's Gio Benitez is potentially one of those people. You got the alert this morning. Hey, Gio.
Yeah, Cecilia, I got that email overnight about my account. Tens of millions of others are getting that same note. Under Armour making the stunning revelation 4 days after learning about this hack. So many use the MyFitnessPal app to track their daily exercise and keep a log of everything they're eating. But there's a lot of personal information in these profiles. Here's what they got. They got names, email addresses, and what are called hashed passwords. That means the passwords were encrypted. The good news, though, because the company doesn't collect Social Security or driver's license numbers, the hackers didn't get that. They also didn't get any payment information. But Under Armour saying this morning, you got to change your password. And the company says it's working with leading data security firms to assist in its investigation and also coordinating with law enforcement authorities. So Cecilia, the big message, you've got to change that password.
Good advice, Gio. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Cecilia. We're going to move on now to that surprising warning about your morning cup of coffee. A judge in California has ruled that Starbucks and other coffee companies across the state must put a cancer warning on their drinks because of a chemical produced during the roasting process. National Coffee Association pushing back. Want to bring in our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Jen Ashton, for a reality check. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, George.
So what is this risk the judge is worried about?
So we're talking about an ingredient called acrylamide. It is actually not an ingredient. It's not a contaminant. It's a byproduct that's formed in the roasting or baking process. It's not just in coffee. It's in other foods like French fries, toast, cereals. And the World Health Organization has determined that acrylamide is a probable human carcinogen. But remember, when we're talking about a toxin, you need either a very potent toxin, you need a high frequency, or you need a very large dose. And when you're talking about coffee, obviously the concern is the high frequency.
And I've read all these studies about the health benefits of moderate use of coffee.
Exactly. The medical literature has shown clear and massive associations between coffee and reduced risk of certain types of cancer, like skin cancer, endometrial cancer, liver cancer, a reduced risk of type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's, the list goes on and on. The best quote I saw about this controversy, George, came from an oncologist at MIT who said, coffee is sometimes connected to cancer by the fact that coffee is drunk by living people, and only living people develop cancer. So to say there is cynicism in the medical community is an understatement. Again, it comes down to risk versus benefit, and benefits clearly outweigh.
Well, I've already had my coffee. This is just water, but it's
drink up.
Okay, thank you very much, Jen.
And we'll have you back at 8 o'clock for another report. But you're a big sports fan, right?
Huge.
Yes. Final Four showdown weekend. Just 550 people out of more than 17 million on ESPN predicted these men's teams would make it to this point. And they are in San Antonio now. TJ Holmes is here now. Got a preview of the game?
Those 550, you think they were lucky or good to get this Final Four?
Both.
A little bit of both. And you have to be a little lucky to get Loyola Chicago correct. This is I was about to toss this to Dr. Ashton, but she got out of here. But you need to get to know this logo here. Guys, this is the story of the tournament. They're 11 seed. This is only the fourth 11 seed to ever make it to the Final Four. No 11 seed has ever won a game in the Final Four, so they can do something that's never been done. They're taking on Michigan, which is a tough team, a 3 seed, not a big surprise they're there. They won their conference tournament. But in the other bracket, the 1 versus 1, Villanova is taking on Kansas. That's going to be a fun game to watch. A bunch of NBA prospects are going to be on the floor for that one. But guys, you remember we were talking about the big scandal in the NCAA. Coaches were being arrested, assistant coaches and all that scandal. This has wiped that story out because it's been a beautiful story, a beautiful tournament, and a great story like Loyola and Sister Jean.
Sister Jean.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask about the women. They're also down to the Final Four.
Okay, now all 4 #1 seeds made it to the Final Four. This has happened 4 times in the women's game before. It's only happened once on the men's side, but 4 times it's happened before. But all 4 #1 seeds, and UConn is going for their 5th championship the past 6 years. This is their 11th straight Final Four. And Gabby Williams, a shout out to her. If you all haven't watched this young lady,
she can love it.
That girl can go,
Oh, yeah.
and she is fun to watch. One of my favorite players. But Gino Auriemma, what he has done with that program has just been unbelievable.
You didn't bring us any gifts?
Hey, like you said, who you got? Who you got? I should ask. Who you got?
Well, I got them all. Give me all those gifts.
And you're going on assignment, but everybody else is going to have to pay big.
Okay, I'm actually not. Yes, well, not big.
Tickets.
You can get a ticket to the championship game for $99. Yeah,
Right.
You'll have to watch on the roof and look through a little window. They're available.
Thank you, TJ. Let's go over to Rob.
All right, George, we got a weakening front that's moving across the east, but another winter storm heading across the northern tier could bring 3 to 6 inches of snow here, maybe more than that in some spots. -1 for a wind chill Easter morning for the Easter egg hunts in Minneapolis. That's surreal. All right, time now for your weekend getaways, brought to you by Sensodyne Pronamel.
Enamel is the strong white outer layer of your tooth surface. The thing that's really important to dentists is to make sure that that enamel stays strong and resilient for a lifetime. The more that we can strengthen and reharden that tooth surface, the whiter their patient's teeth are going to be. Dentists are going to really want to recommend Pronamel Strong and Bright. It helps to strengthen and reharden the enamel. It also has stain lifting action. It's going to give their patients the protection that they need and the whiter teeth that they want.
Hey, a few showers to deal with here on this Good Friday. Those showers will be out of here, though, by the time Passover starts this evening. Some sunshine, too, late today, and it's going to get a little breezy. Your temperatures fall off from the lower to mid-60s to the upper 50s later today. Now, your Saturday is going to be filled with sunshine, still mild and seasonal. The best day out of the weekend. Not too bad for Sunday, still dry, but we are going to be picking up some clouds, and we'll watch a system just south of the area that could be producing a few early morning showers on Monday.
Coming up, what Parkland shooting survivor David Hogg is saying this morning after taking on a Fox News host for making fun of him, and the advertisers are listening.
And the manhunt underway for the designer of that deadly water slide. Has he fled the country?
Hey, Scout. What's with the itches?